happen to also
Huh?
I just happen to also like the author very much. I think he's a great person. So definitely going to read it.
One Immigrant's 10-Year Journey from Bankrupt to Millionaire. Prove Them Wrong by Hector Quiroga. I think his firm
Yeah.
going to do.
And we just
10
happen
million
to know that the story is true also.
Oh yeah, I mean we live this story.
Exactly.
That's why you should read the book.
I will. I promise.
I'll know when you read it.
I'm sure you will, because there must be something there that I will call you Arjun.
If you read the book at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll know you read the book at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I got your message. I'm sure there's something there that I will call you at 3 o'clock in the morning for.
Every time it is you read the book, I'll know when it is.
Okay. I'm sure you will.
So I got one last meeting with to put the finishing touches on the Truth Teller manuscript. And then that's done.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited about that. I actually want to finish that one because I'm like, one of those stories that you just want to know what comes next. That's where I am.
I think it's great. I really like it.
Yeah. How is this all going to end? And I think that knowing a little bit of the background, I just also kind of figure out if what you're going to say, it's kind of what I think that you're going to say. But anyway, yeah, I really liked it.
So, thank you for hosting the show.
Of course.
Yesterday,
I'd love to be here.
Yesterday was Carly. And the day before that, Delisi.
Yeah, I watched a couple of the episodes with Delisi. And Carly yesterday for like 20 minutes or something. I hope we get a ton of questions. Questions are fun.
Yeah. Questions are fun. I hope we get questions.
Yeah.
We're getting like thousands of people who watch the show or listen to the show in recording. It's not live.
Yeah. And the great thing is that the recordings are going to be, I'm assuming you guys are going to leave them up, right? So more people can get access to this information.
I guess we'll leave it up for a couple weeks, but then we'll take it down and then maybe share it again next season.
Well, I certainly hope that people take advantage of this. There's so many people that they are saying consistently, I want to make more money, I want to grow my law firm, I want to live a better life.
Blah, blah. I just don't want to do anything that's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I just want it to be easy. That's why it's so great to work with our members. Because our members, they're willing to do something.
Yes. The vast majority of them, yes.
The law of big numbers. You're always going to have the exceptions. People who won't do anything.
Yes. Yeah. I was talking to somebody earlier today. This person, 2022, they made around 630,000. They're already at 1.2 million for 2023. And in 2023, this year, that they had a bunch of personal situations going on. And a lot of things that happened. It was a really hard year, and nevertheless, the results are there and the implementation is there. So it's great.
Yeah. Here we go.
Stories.
We're like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to 12 Days of Law Firm Growth, the show for law firm owners who are serious about growing their business, maximizing profits, and reaching their true potential. And now, let's get started.
Hey, how are you? All right, everyone. So let's get right to it. Before we start the introductions, let's talk about what's in it for you, because we've got thousands of new people signing on to this podcast that are discovering us. We're of course marketing it, but it's being shared. People are sharing it with people. I guess it's getting some mentions in some lawyer discussion groups. So let me just get right to what's in it for you first before I introduce myself and the premise of the show, because you don't care about us, you care about you, and that's okay. This show is designed to help you grow your law firm. Specifically, this is designed to help you grow your law firm. Probably most relevant if your revenues are under about $10 million. 10 million. So what we do here is we go into the vault every day for 12 days. This is the 12 days of law firm growth, an obvious reference to the 12 days of Christmas. And we just thought it'd be nice to invest 12 days of just sharing and giving and answering questions and just sort of sharing some lessons and some ideas and help and some tools and some resources to help lawyers who are really serious about growing their law firms. If you're a help rejecting explainer, tune the fuck out. We're not for you. You're not for us. That's okay. We're really only for people who have a serious commitment to growing their business. We're not here to sell you something, put your wallet away. We don't have any vendors. There's no pitches. There's just lots of free content. And that's that. So again, Erica, before I even introduce myself, before I even introduce you, there's the little names. Before I introduce you or me, first, tell the audience why did you pick the clip you chose? What's in it for them?
Yeah, so I picked that clip because I think that the concepts that we're going to share with them today are very simple, nothing, complicated, but they understanding the difference between those three concepts can be completely life-changing. This is one of the examples of things that when we discuss them with the hundreds of lawyers that we work with, when they come to the realization of this content, they go like, oh my God, now I can see how not knowing this concept was costing me probably tens of thousands of dollars, and how much better can I be at running my business and making profit and actually living the life that I want to live if I have access to this concept. So that's why I chose this clip.
Excellent. So let me do a quick introduction about me and you and who we are and what we're doing here. There we go. So our company is called How to Manage a Small Law Firm. We manage over 600 of some of the fastest growing, most profitable solo and small law firms in every practice area all over the country that you could ever even imagine. The biggest challenge we have when we used to have marketing challenges, the biggest challenge we used to have is people literally would not allow themselves to believe that we would consistently, predictably, reliably get the kind of results we get with the law firms that we take over and help to manage. I say that we used to have this problem because nowadays we have a waiting list, which is why this is not high pressure. It's not like, oh, there's only this many spots left. If we say there's this many spots left for a free resource or something like that, it's because there's really only that many spots left, because we have a waiting list for clients. We've had a waiting list for clients for 2 years, 3 years at this point. Anyway, so what we do is we function as a CEO, COO, CFO, and CMO for these law firms. So your law firm is a business. I think you know that. Every business needs someone to serve as the chief executive officer of the business. That person probably should not be you, not because you're not smart, not because you don't care, but because, you probably just don't have the qualifications to be the CEO of a business that's going to grow at 20, 30, 50% year on year on year on year on year and be profitable. Why not? Because you didn't go to business school. You don't have an MBA. You've never done it before. You haven't done it hundreds and hundreds of times. You don't have processes and systems and procedures and a reliable system for doing it. We do. That's why we get great results. Not because we're so smart, not because our clients are stupid, but because we just have a proven system for doing this. Anyway, so that's how to manage a small law firm. I'm Arjan Robbins. I'm the founder and president of the company. I'm a lawyer. I went to law school. I learned all the same thing. I learned all the same things in law school that you probably learned in law school about the business of running a law firm, which is nothing. If I learned nothing, if we learned nothing in law school about the business of running a law firm, that would be better than what you probably learned, what I learned, and what I learned, and what you probably learned, and what tens of thousands of lawyers that I've worked with. And that's a documented fact in bar records. That's not just some bullshit I'm pulling out of my ass. Tens of thousands of lawyers that I've worked with since I started doing this in 1999. What most of us learned in law school is the idea that if you're a good enough lawyer, the magic law firm management elves will just come along and take care of your marketing for you. If you're a good enough lawyer, the magic law firm management elves will follow up with all of the prospective new clients that came in to see you that didn't hire you. They'll just follow up with those clients for you and bring them back and get them to decide to engage your firm. If you're a good enough lawyer, amazing employees will just line up at your door and read your mind, and you won't need documented processes and systems and procedures to empower your staff to do amazing work and to leverage your brilliance. If you're a good enough lawyer, you won't have to worry about the finances of your business, because the magic law firm management elves will just do all your cash flow projections for you, figure out your cost of goods sold, figure out your gross profit margins, do financial projections, and make sure your law firm is just magically profitable if you're just a good enough lawyer. Which, of course, then what happens is lawyers who never took one single class in their whole life about the business of running a law firm don't even have a written business plan. Who would ever start a business without a written business plan? Lawyers, that's who. Lawyers who have these struggling law firms all over the country. There's over 500,000 solo and small law firms in this country, and the vast majority of them are financially performing very, very badly. I promise you, when you go to a bar function and you're with a bunch of lawyers who are like, oh, everything's going great, you can ask them like 3 questions and bam, you'll know that that's bullshit. It's not true. But the problem is that, the problem is twofold. The problem number one is when someone comes and says, my law firm is doing really well, and they're telling the truth, no one believes them, because everyone thinks that everyone's lying every time they say something positive. And the second problem is everyone's afraid to admit that they're having a problem. Everyone's afraid to ask for help. Everyone's afraid to be vulnerable, because we all think if you're a good enough lawyer, your law firm should just magically run itself. And so if I acknowledge that I'm having a marketing problem, if I acknowledge that I have a sales conversion problem, if I acknowledge that I have a staffing problem, if I acknowledge that I have a financial controls problem, if I acknowledge that my business has problems with processes and systems and procedures, which none of this has anything to do with the business, with practicing law. But if I admit that my business has these problems, that must mean I'm not a good enough lawyer. And no one wants to admit that. So everyone pretends like everything's great, and it's not. So anyway, that's what my business is, how to manage a small law firm. And I will tell you that in 1990, when was it? Holy crap! I started the business in 2000. That's why I'm getting confused, because I worked at the Florida bar in 1999. I started the business in 2000. Holy shit. Now I'm just completely blanking out. When did I start this business, Erica? 2006. Started this business in 2006.
I think 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I started the business in 2006, and I was broke. I mean, my wife had gotten sick, and I took care of her. She's fully recovered now. Thank you very much. But we lost everything I lost the house to foreclosure. I started in 2006, flat broke. I mean, the business has grown over 10,000% since then. And anyway, it is what it is. We're the real deal when it comes to the business of growing very, very successful, profitable small law firms that work for the owners. Probably 25-30% of our members have businesses in the $1 to $5 million range. We got maybe a dozen $10 million law firms. I'd say half of our members are under $1 million in revenue, and probably 25, 30% are under 500,000, under 250,000. I used to remember these statistics.
Under
now
250, yeah.
So we take everyone
like 25% under 250.
Yeah, so we take everyone through the we take everyone through the 7 stages of growing a successful law firm. $0 to $250,000 is one very distinct stage of growing a law firm. $250,000 to $500,000 ish, more or less, is a second very distinct stage with very different challenges and very different solutions to focus on. 500,000 to a million, $1.5 million is a very, very different stage. $1.5 million to $3 million, $3 million to $5 million, $5 million to $10 million, 7 stages of growth, each of them different. It's just like driving a stick shift car. First gear is different than second gear is different than third gear, and so on and so forth. So anyway, so everyone should listen to this because the clip you picked has 3 or 4 things that are very, very simple that will give what benefit? What is the benefit? What is the outcome?
Well, once people know about these concepts, they have the ability to overcome problems faster, obviously make more money, help their clients better, and overall just make better decisions as it comes to their business, but also to their personal life.
Okay, interesting. And I don't know what the clip is. So the format of the show basically is we decide to do this 12 days of law firm growth and just give and share every day for 12 days at the end of the year for the holidays. And every day, a different member of my team reaches out into the vault, and I've got 150 employees. So every day we pick someone different, and they reach out into the vault and they pick a clip that they like, that they want to share. I don't know what the clip is until you see it, I see it, we both see it together. The big reveal, we watch the clip together, then we talk about the clip while we wait for people to ask us questions about how do I help me with this marketing challenge I'm having with my law firm? Help me with this sales challenge I'm having with my law firm. Help me with this staffing challenge I'm having with my law firm. Help me with this financial controls challenge or a pricing challenge or whatever you got going on. You'll be able to post it and we will answer your questions. And we also get questions in between the live shows because, like I said, apparently we get a small handful of people who watch the show live every day, but a couple thousand people seem to be picking up and watching the show recorded. So write your questions in too. We'll answer your questions in the next live show. So Erica, first introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are, your background, how we met, and how long we've been working together. And then we'll see a thumbnail of the clip. I'll try to guess where the clip came from, and then we'll watch the clip and then talk about the clip.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I was born in Mexico City. I went to school for business administration. I worked in business and in finance. Started my career in corporate America, mainly in telecommunications and pharmaceuticals. And then I made the decision of getting married, and my husband relocated to another country. So we relocated, and that got me into a series of relocations. I've lived in like 8 different countries, relocated probably 10 times. And I did all of that probably in maybe 7, 8 years, which is a lot. So during that process, I became acutely aware of how important it was for me to have a professional career, but I needed a business or an ability to have a job that was location independent. So then I started my own coaching business. That's how I met Arjun. I think that we met in 2010, I think. And the reason why I know that you started your business in 2006 or 7 is because when I met you, your business had been open probably 3 or 4 years. And then we became really good friends. You were growing your business. I was growing my business. And then we always stayed in touch. We visited very similar events, learned from very similar mentors. Your business really took off, mine too, in different areas. And then in 2015, I think it was, around 8 years ago, we started working together for a project. I worked with you for a couple of months, I think 2 or 3 months on a very specific project. And I really fell in love with the company and the clients and just everything that you have going on here. And then finally, I decided to join you for full-time in 2017. And I've been working with you ever since. And it's just a pleasure to help people in the 7 areas of a business: marketing, sales, production, people, physical plant, financial controls, and the owner, the mindset, and the you. Just a little bit about me. I live also right now. I live in Miami. I have 4 children, 4 dogs, and used to live in other countries. But that is a little bit about me. Again, my background in business administration, finance, worked with teams up to 120 people running $60 million P&Ls. And for many years, I've been working with Arjun on helping him onboard, train, and manage the CEO, COO, CFO, CMOs, and soon CSOs that are working with our members in the process of growing their business. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. So you always bury the lead. No, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you've noticed. But you do. You always leave out the fact that you have an MSA in finance, and you leave out the fact that the last P&L that you ran before you joined us was
that one. I did say it.
P&L.
This time I did say.
Yeah, but at the
that
end,
I did say.
At the end, I mean, you're talking to probably most of the people in the audience have maybe a $1 million business, and here they get to talk to someone who ran a $60 million P&L with 60 employees working for you.
120.
Excuse me, 220 employees reporting to you with $60 million in revenue.
120.
120.
I don't want to deceive. Yes.
All right. Anyway, let's see the clip.
Anyway, I did say it this time because I know. Yeah. Let's see the thumbnail.
Okay. So can we zoom in on the right on that board? Let me see if I can make it bigger. Oh, I know where that was. That was at our all hands meeting last year.
Looks like it, huh?
That was our all hands meeting last year. Where so once a year we get all. Last year I think we had 130. Now we got like 160 or 170 employees. We bring them all together at a live event once a year, just us, no clients, no vendors, just all of us, to do team training, team building. That's what that is, right?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah, you know how I recognize this because there was that hand-drawn style. They did that hand-drawn
the logo.
style.
It was great.
Really cool. Yeah, I recognize that. I think.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see the clip.
Truth is what? Reality. Truth is reality. Reality is truth. By comparison, a lie is what? A distortion of reality. All right, I'm gonna say what I think a lie is, and Jeff's got it, but I'm gonna say it a little bit differently. A lie is an intentional misrepresentation of your best understanding of reality. Yes? If I believe that this is water, and I tell you that it's poison, I have lied to you. Yes? A lie is an intentional misrepresentation of your best understanding of reality. Okay? What is a mistake? Exactly. It's an unintentional misrepresentation of reality. I believe that to be water. I tell you that it's water because I reasonably believe it to be water. Turns out it's poison. You drink it and you die. Have I lied to you? I've made a mistake. A lot of people are trapped in their whole life. They're trapped because no one ever taught them the difference between a lie and a mistake. And because they don't ever want to be called a liar, they're unwilling to make any representations whatsoever. They're unwilling to make plans. They're unwilling to make commitments. They're unwilling to make projections. They're unwilling to do anything because what if I'm wrong? Then I'm a liar. No, if you're wrong, you simply made a mistake. It's the intent to mislead the other person that makes the distinction between a lie and a mistake. You got the difference? Yes? It's hard to do this on a stage this small. What's bullshit? What's truth? What's a lie? An intentional misrepresentation of reality. What's a mistake? An unintentional misrepresentation of reality. You thought you were saying the truth. You were wrong. You made a mistake. So what's bullshit? What is bullshit? All right, so there is a book that was written by a Princeton professor, Professor Frankfurter, Princeton professor. He wrote a book called On Bullshit, where he actually traces the origins of the word bullshit and what it means. And he actually gives a proper definition of bullshit. Bullshit is a representation that's made without regard to what's true or not true. Bullshit is when someone makes a representation, and it could be true, or it could be false, but what makes it bullshit is that the person hasn't bothered to think it through and figure it out. They didn't care enough to find out what's true and what's not true. They just said it. That's what bullshit is. You get it? Which is worse, do you think? A liar or a bullshitter? The worst thing you can do in this business is bullshit. Literally, I'd rather you lie to me. I mean, I'm not saying I want you to lie to me, but I'd rather you lie to me than bullshit me. When you say things and I ask you why, show me the data, show me the information, help me understand, what are the facts? I'm not doing this to try to give you a hard time. I'm doing this because I am fucking damaged. Because I have been abused by so many bullshitters in my life. And I just need to know what's real. Is it real? How do you know? Not because I think you're lying to me, not even because I think you're bullshitting me. I just need to know what's real. So part of this culture is a culture where we call each other on our bullshit, not out of disrespect, but out of respect. Because we care too much about each other, and we have too much respect for reality, and we have too much respect for everyone's goals to let each other go around in bullshit. You get what I'm saying? Okay, thank you.
You know, I think that someone else, I think Delisi picked a clip talking about the same thing, but from a different date or from a different time.
I am telling you, this is a topic that is very popular.
Oh, I know. People love it. It's a really important topic. People, this concept liberates entrepreneurs. This concept, I have seen this concept set people loose, set people free. This concept is absolutely critical. If you're going to manage a team, if you're going to try to manage a team of high performance superstars, you have to install this concept. They have to all understand this concept. This is such a absolutely critical concept for building a team of superstar high performers. It's extremely important for working with clients. It's so important just so you don't lie to yourself. You don't bullshit yourself. I mean, the worst thing you can do in business isn't to lie to other people. I mean, I'm not saying you should lie to other people. I'm not condoning lying to other people. But there's something that's much, much worse than lying to other people. And that's lying to yourself. That's telling yourself that you want things you don't want. That's telling yourself you don't care about things that you really do care about. That's telling yourself that things don't bother you when they do bother you. That's telling yourself that's lying about when you see something that's really a problem and you ignore it and you tell yourself a story about why it's not really a problem, but it is a problem, and it's slowly burning your business to the ground. Truth, lies, mistakes, and bullshit are critical, and you've got to give your team permission to make mistakes, because even if you understand this, I guarantee you the majority of people you're ever going to hire in your entire life, they do not understand this, and they are scared of making mistakes because they're afraid they're going to get punished for making mistakes because they don't make a distinction between a mistake and a lie. This is so big. This is maybe one of the biggest management lessons. If I had to pick one management lesson, this would definitely be one of my top 10.
I agree 100%. Throughout the years, I've known you for a lot of years, and I must have heard you make this lesson, I don't know, at least 20 times. And still, each and every time I find myself taking notes and reflecting about something that I might have missed or something that I didn't do, or becoming better at something every time you do the lesson. So I think it's absolutely critical, and it really helps people put things into perspective. Do you want to talk about, for me, when you do this lesson and you talk about the pilot, and you make the analogy of why, a bullshitter is worse than a liar. And the first time that I heard you say that,
don't say it.
Yeah. It shocked me. So you say it.
We'll do a test. We'll do this.
Okay, test.
So here's the way the conversation goes, and I've done this with literally thousands, not hundreds. I've done this with thousands and thousands and thousands of some of the most highly educated people on the planet, lawyers. All the lawyer jokes aside, we are some of the most highly educated people who have ever walked the planet in the history of our species. And the question goes like this. Here's the scenario. You're running away from bad guys, and you have to get on one of two different airplanes. Not getting on an airplane, on either of the airplanes, is not a choice. You must get on one airplane or the other, or you're definitely going to die, right? And one of the airplanes is flown by a pilot who doesn't always lie, but often lies. This pilot does not always lie, but this pilot often lies. The other airplane is being flown by a pilot who does not always bullshit, but this pilot often bullshits. They don't always bullshit, but they often bullshit. Get on the plane that's flown by the person who often lies, doesn't always lie, but often lies, or get on a plane with the pilot who often bullshits, doesn't always bullshit, but often bullshits. Flown by the liar, flown by the bullshitter. And you get to ask them whatever you want to ask them. You can ask them, is the plane safe? You could ask them, are you a good pilot? You could ask them, does the plane have enough fuel to get to where we want to go? You can ask them whatever question you want to ask them. And they're both going to give you an answer. The liar often lies, but doesn't always lie. And the bullshitter often bullshits, but doesn't always bullshit. One or the other, which plane are you and your family going to get onto? The plane flown by the liar, or the plane flown by the bullshitter? And Jennifer, let's give them a chance to put this in the chat, see if anyone wants to play our game here. Are you going to get on the plane with the liar or get on the plane with the bullshitter? I feel like we need some Jeopardy music. So no one's answering, right? Good to play all in. Don't answer. Oh, wait, there it is.
We got one. Yeah.
But Lisi doesn't count. Lisi's on my team. She's seen this presentation all the time.
No, there's another one. Allison, the liar. She said the liar.
The liar.
If I were single, this would be an interesting.
The liar. You're going to get on a plane with a fucking liar. You're going to get on a plane with a fucking liar? For real?
That's what Allison says.
So you don't want to change your mind here? Anyone else? Bullshitter? No, for real? All right. I've done this exercise with literally thousands of people, probably 100 times all over the country. And the only I don't want to say the right answer. I'm going to say the only rational answer in my mind is you have to get on the plane with a liar. You cannot get on the plane with a bullshitter. Why? So you imagine you're flying. I was giving Allison a hard time. I was going to see if she'd change her mind. Good for you for not caving. So, imagine you're flying and the plane starts falling out of the sky, and you say to the pilot who's a bullshitter, I thought you said this plane was safe to fly. The bullshitter, the problem is people who bullshit, they don't know what the truth is. Liars know what the truth is, or at least they know what they believe the truth to be. A liar has more respect for the truth than does a bullshitter. The liar may not have very much respect for you because they're intentionally misrepresenting what they believe the truth to be. But the liar at least cares enough about the truth to find out what they think the truth is. The bullshitter doesn't care enough about the truth to find out what the truth is. The bullshitter does not care enough about what truth is. They don't care enough about truth just as a thing, as a principle, to investigate, to analyze, to think things through. And here's the thing. The vast majority of people who you're ever going to meet in your life, sadly, are bullshitting. They're bullshitting themselves. They're bullshitting their staff. They're bullshitting their family. They're bullshitting their clients. They are running bullshit businesses and they're living bullshit lives. And you can tell if someone's living a bullshit life or running a bullshit business by just asking them a simple question. And the question is, why? Why do you practice in the area of law you practice in? Why do you have this policy or have this procedure? Why do you do things the way you do things in your business? Why do you live in the house that you live in? Why do you live in the city that you live in? Why are you married to the person you're married to? Most people, if you ask them why, do not have an answer. Their answer is bullshit.
She says, can it be acceptable to lie? For example, sometimes I lie to my daughter about Santa.
I'm not saying what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. I'm simply making a distinction between a lie where a person knows what the truth is because they have enough respect. They respect truth more than the bullshitter. See, when you lie and tell your daughter that there's such a thing as Santa Claus, you have whatever motivations you have whatever reasons you have whatever justification you have to mislead her about whether or not there's Santa, but you at least have enough respect for truth to know and find out and investigate for yourself whether there's such a thing as Santa, right? By the way, if it turns out that there is such a thing as Santa, then I've simply made a mistake. See how that works? The bullshitters are dangerous. Bullshitters are the most dangerous people in the world to do business with. They're the most dangerous employees to have. They're the most dangerous clients to have. Bullshitters are dangerous for your business. You got to root out the bullshitters and get rid of them. They're bad for your business. We've had our fair share of bullshitters for years, haven't we?
Yes. It really shocked me the first time that I heard you do this lesson, because I think that for many, many years, I was never introduced growing up to the concept of bullshit. I was definitely introduced to the concept of lying. And when you ask the question, that the first thing that came to my mind is most likely lying. And it just turns out that no, because of the reasons that you already explained. And I remember you saying, well, the bullshitter, if he is the pilot of the plane, at least knows that there's a problem. And if something presents...
The liar.
If something happens and presents itself, they can connect the dots and actually make a different decision and do something differently. But the bullshitter that didn't bother to figure out if there was a malfunction or anything with the plane...
What the fuck is going on? The bullshitter doesn't know what's going on. They don't care about what's true and what's not true. They don't care about what's real and what's not real. And I'm not saying that bullshitters don't get lucky sometimes, but bullshitters are like, you see people have these businesses, they go up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Usually those people are bullshitters.
Yeah.
Liars can have successful businesses. Liars can have unsuccessful businesses. A consistent liar is going to have a consistent business, good or bad. A bullshitter is going to be the person whose business is going up and down and up and down and up and down because they're not dealing in reality. They're dangerous. They're dangerous people. So I saw someone flash on the screen the business plan workbook. This is one of our gifts that we're sharing with you for the holiday season. It's free. Download it. This is the business plan workbook. You can get it at howtomanageasmalllawfirm.com/12 days. And we have, this is one of the first things we do with a brand new member when we take over the management of a law firm is we take our new members through a 12-week course where we develop a written business plan. And as you might imagine, the written business plan is based on truth. It's based on reality. It might not be politically correct. It might not be things that you want to hear, but it's based on truth and it's based on reality. And we flush out all the bullshit. So we have a business plan that's based on truth and based on reality. And then we hand that over to one of our CEOs. And depending on what size the firm is, a CEO, a COO, a chief operating officer, a chief financial officer. And we use that business plan as the blueprint for building and building and building and building and building the business. And this is how we have so many, I think, into the hundreds of $1 million law firms that we manage, most of whom came to us when they were less than $200,000 in revenue. We have people who come to us at $1 million and they want to go to 10, and that's great. We have people who come to us at $1 million and their goal is not necessarily to increase revenue. They want to increase profits. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of $1 million, $5 million, a lot of $10 million law firms that are not profitable. It's because they operate their business on a lot of bullshit, things that aren't real. So the business plan is really it's critical. It's like your anchor to reality. Anyway, so you can get a copy of it for free and work on the exercise yourself. You don't have to be a member of How to Manage a Small Law Firm. You never have to tell us you did it. You never have to share it with us. If you want to share it with us, if you want to get some feedback, I'm sure we'd be happy to take a look and give you some feedback on it. And like I said, we got a waiting list. So it's not like we're like, oh my God, you got to become a member of How to Manage a Small Law Firm or we won't help you. We're happy to help. We are very abundance-minded, generous, pay-it-forward kind of people. We'll just share and give and share. And eventually, one day, we'll have an opening and you'll decide you want our help to start implementing some of the things we're going to teach you and you're tired of doing it yourself. Match made in heaven. That's when we work together. All right. So we don't have a lot of questions today.
While we get questions,
and stop accepting.
Well, let's take this question. Let's get this question, and then I want to ask you a question, but okay. How can I get honest with myself and stop accepting my own bullshit?
That had to be one of our staff who wrote that in. That can't be like an actual person in the audience. That's too much of a softball. I'm not even going to answer that question. That's too self-serving. All right. What's your question?
Well, you should answer that question. I think there's some people there that have that question.
You can tell us a bullshitter. You just ask them why. You ask someone why. Ask anyone you want. Go to the grocery store. Go to the pharmacy. Ask your doctor. Ask your accountant. Ask your neighbor. Ask the server at the restaurant. Why? Ask them any question and ask them why. And then they give you an answer, ask them why a second time. And they give you an answer, ask them a third time. And you will be able to tell very obviously that what they're giving you is 9 times out of 10 going to be bullshit. They don't have a reason. They have no criteria. They have no thoughtful explanation. There's no real thinking behind why they're doing what they're doing. They're not thinking. There's no reason There's no analysis. There's no research. There's no investigation. There's no criteria. It's just all bullshit. Ask why. Ask anyone why 3 times, and you're going to get to bullshit most of the time by the second question. Erica, watch this. Why are you wearing a red blouse?
Oh, because it's Christmas. And since this is the 12 days of Christmas, I thought, why not wear red to celebrate Christmas?
You have a reason for wearing a red blouse. Most people
ask me about my car.
Most of the time, you say, "Why are you wearing a red blouse?" And then you'll be like, I don't know. I just wearing it, just for no reason. They don't have a reason for anything. All right, you had a question though.
Yes. So you mentioned earlier that unfortunately there's a lot of lawyers that are portraying themselves as successful out there, and when they come to us and we see the reality, we see how much they're struggling. And I remember the conversation that we have with our members about how normal lawyers that they're starting their businesses, or maybe they've been in business for a few years, how do they set the rates? And basically what they do is that they look around and what X person is charging and the law firm down the street is charging, and they say, that must be the price that is making everybody money, and they charge the same money. So I was just wondering if you can talk about that.
That's a perfect example of bullshit, right? It's a bullshit reason to charge what you're charging. And it doesn't matter if you're charging more than everyone else or less than everyone else or the same as everyone else. If you don't have a real reason, it could be a bad reason. It could be a stupid reason. It could be the wrong reason. It could be a misinformed reason. But at least have a reason for why you're doing what you're doing. Otherwise, it's bullshit. So what was your question?
Well, what I wanted to ask you is to talk about that, because they don't bother to investigate if that is the rate that is going to work for them. And they just assume that because everybody else is doing it or someone else is doing it, that is the right thing to do. And that's how they end up in the same profit problems than many other law firms that we see. And it's so sad.
Well, why should they bother to investigate whether the rate is the right rate, since they don't bother to investigate anything else in their business either? Everything's bullshit. Everything's just because someone told me, because that's what everyone else is doing, because that's conventional wisdom, because that's what some stranger on Facebook who may or may not know what the fuck they're talking about told me that I should do. Everything in their business is bullshit. So why should the rates be any different, right? Look, there's 5 ways, or there's 4 ways to approach rates in a law firm, right? Number 1 is what you described, which is basically the market rate. Ego, right? I think that I have more experience than that lawyer, so I'll charge more than him. I think I have less experience than that lawyer, so I'll charge less than her. I think that I'm smarter than him, so I'll charge more than him. I think she's smarter than me, so I'll charge less than her. It's just ego. It's ego and insecurity driven pricing structures. That's all that it is. When you say I'm charging what I'm charging based on what other people in the market are charging, it's ego and insecurity that's driving your rates, and that is the ultimate bullshit. The second way to drive your rates is basically strategic. It's cost plus, right? You figure out your cost of goods sold. You understand what it costs you to deliver the service, which so cost you $1 to deliver a service, and then you decide what you want your profit margin to be. Let's say you want your profit margin to be 20%. So if it costs you $1 to deliver the service, your cost of goods sold, and you want a 20% profit margin, well, then that dictates your rate. It better be $1.20, right? That's also mostly a bullshit way of doing it. I mean, it sounds smarter. It sounds like you're being more professional. It sounds like you're being more responsible. I mean, after all, I'm making a market-based cost plus, but why 20%? Why not 15%? Why not 25%, right? It's an arbitrary number. It's an arbitrary number that has no real basis in reality. It's just ego-driven and insecurity-driven number. That's the second way. The third way is strategic, value-based, right? You say, okay, how much value is this service going to provide for the consumer? This service will save the client $100,000. So I'll charge $10,000 because I figure selling someone $100,000 savings for a $10,000 fee, that's a good value. Good. This service is going to save someone 10 years in jail. I'll charge $10,000. I figure charging $10,000 to save someone 10 years in jail is a great value because they value their time, they value their life. Good. This service is going to get this person out of an unhappy relationship or protect their intellectual property or accomplish something that is meaningful to the client's life that can't necessarily be quantified in dollars, but is meaningful to the client's life. And so you evaluate how does the client value their future? How does a client value their life? And you sell them that at a discount, whatever the rate is, and you think, okay, that's selling value. That at least has a rational basis for pricing. But the best way is to just acknowledge that you want what you want. I want to live in this house. I want to fly first class when I travel. I want to drive the car that I want to drive. I want to employ the domestic services that I want to employ. I want to put my son in the private school that I want to put him into. This is what it costs to live the life that I want to live. And I'm honest with myself that I want to live this life because I want to live this life. I want to live this life, and this is what it costs to live this life. And so I need to make sure that I extract this much profit from my business. Now, since law firms, since your business and my business, since professional services firms generate revenue as a function of value, then you understand that increasing your revenue is not a function of taking anything from another person. Increasing your revenue is a function of doing more for other people, right? So if back when I used to fly coach, I would say, oh, I don't want to spend the extra $1,000 to go from coach to first class. Coach is $500. First class is, let's say, $1,500. I don't want to spend the extra $1,000 until I got it straight in my head that I'm basically making my clients suffer because I won't fly first class. And the reason, and this isn't like, oh yeah, because I have to arrive in better condition. I have to arrive in the best version of myself. No, it's because in order to fly first class, I have to earn an extra $1,000. Well, that means I have to deliver an extra $1,000 of value to someone. In some way, shape, or form, I have to add $1,000 of extra value that I wasn't otherwise going to add to the lives of my clients. That's where gross revenue comes from. Gross revenue comes from delivering value to more people. All things being equal, $1 million law firm delivers twice as much value as a $500,000 law firm. A $10 million law firm delivers 10 times more value as a $1 million law firm. It just does. You're either helping 10 times more people or you're helping the same number of people 10 times as much, because gross revenue is a byproduct of how much value your business delivers. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the business is going to be profitable. Profit is a function of how efficiently you run the business, how intelligently you run the business, how good are your strategies, how good are your tactics, how well do you execute on those tactics, how much training do you invest in your staff, how much accountability do you install in your culture. That will drive profitability. That's why you can have two different $10 million businesses, and one of them could be throwing off $2.5 million of total owner benefits for the owner, and the other one, the owner could be broke, even though they have a $10 million business. And believe me, we see it all the time. So these are the four different approaches to pricing. And as you can see, the first two, which are the least profitable, they're based on bullshit.
And hence the problem when we operate our businesses or make our decisions based on bullshit. So thank you so much for making that lesson. I really love it. And, you know, I see it all the time. You know, every quarter we run a business plan bootcamp, right? And we have at least 50 or 60 people go through that business plan bootcamp. And every single time that we ask, well, why are you charging X? All because somebody is charging that. And they have really no idea whether they are.
The worst answer that drives me fucking insane. Why are you charging $500? Why you charge X dollars per hour, whatever it is? Well, that's what they billed me out for at my last job. Oh my God. Did you look at their financial projections? Did you look at their P&L? Did you look at their financials? Do you know if they even understood their own cost of goods sold? Well, no. I never got a glimpse into the business of that law firm. So you don't know whether that person was running their law firm profitably or not. You don't know whether they had good financial controls or not. You don't know if they had any rational, logical basis for how they charged your fee or not. And you're just going to take whatever they did and just build your life on that same thing. That is just the ultimate abdication of personal responsibility, which is bullshit. And that happens all the time. And I would bet that there's probably at least a pretty big percentage of the lawyers listening to this right now who are like, oh shit, that's me. It doesn't have to be you. You can do better. You can write a business plan. You can download a copy of our business plan workbook for free, use it for free, and use and not live the next year of your life. Do not go into the next year of your life with bullshit fees and bullshit marketing plans and a bullshit business model. Or if you do, don't get, what is that scratching sound? Or if you do, don't get to the end of the year, next year, and whine and complain about how you're working too hard and I'm working too many hours and I don't get to have time with my family and I don't get to do the things that I want to do in my life. And yet I wouldn't download a free resource or invest a couple of hours to use it. Instead, I'm just going to work for a whole nother year without a plan. I mean, I dare you to go home and tell your family that. Go home and tell your spouse or your significant other, or your adult children, hey, there's this resource I could get for free. I could invest a few hours in this resource and possibly give all of us a better life next year, but I'm not going to. Because insert your fucking bullshit reason here. Don't do that.
You know, I really wish that you were lying, but you're not. Like, this is what we see with people all the time. And I think that the people that are watching this, hopefully, they're making a different decision and going against their preconditioned things.
They're not.
Well, I hope they are. I want to believe they are going to download it.
That's why you're wearing red, because you want to believe in the Christmas spirit, right? I'm jaded. I get to wear an eye patch like Kurt Russell, and I have learned that most people, look, I'm like Don Quixote here, right? I keep tilting at windmills. I keep believing. Every year I wake up and I believe this will be the year that we'll find that the legal industry has turned the corner. This is why I love our members so much. This is why I'm so committed to our members. I am so fucking committed to the success of our members because it is so rare. I mean, we got over 600 of some of the most courageous law firm owners that you could ever hope to ever imagine meeting, because these are like brave souls who are willing to turn their back on conventional wisdom and do things to a different set of rules and get results that literally turn them into pariahs in their local bar association. And I love them for it.
Yeah, I have so much respect and so much admiration for our members because of that. You know, they take action against conventional wisdom. They overcome their fears. They simply take action in a different way than the majority of people do. And most people get to the end of the year and they realize that they haven't paid themselves enough, or the business didn't make enough money, or there is not enough profit, or whatever other issues
Or
they are
they're not taking
experiencing.
any time with their family, or they're not taking time for their health, and their whole life is basically in service of the business instead of the business, which is supposed to be serving them. And then they go to a bar function at the end of the year and they get surrounded by a group of people who sit around bragging about their problems. They take pride in their problems. They brag about their problems. They develop an emotional attachment to their problems. They should give names to their problems. Like, this is Charlie. This is my problem. Sorry for anyone named Charlie. I just made up that name. It's like they've got this imaginary friend. It's their problem. They develop relationships with their problems, and then they don't want to break up with their problem. They want to make excuses for it and justify it and rationalize it and, invite it home for dinner every night for the rest of the year.
What was the name of that movie that I think it was from Pixar, where the characters were actual emotions, and people learned to deal with their emotions through each one of these characters, and each one of these characters had different names, of course, but one was pain and one was happiness and one was this. What you said just made me remember that. It's true, right? Like, people have these problems and they get used to their problems. They don't like their problems very much consciously, but they are there creating and recreating the same problems over and over again.
You say they don't like their problems, but you say they don't like their problems, but they do. They do. They like their problems because their problems protect them.
I don't know they like it. I think that they are used to it, and that gives them comfort in just knowing.
Their problems protect them. Wouldn't you like someone who protected you?
Hopefully, if it's not hurting me also, yes.
Their problems protect them. Their problems give them a big social life and a big social community. Their problems give them endless entertainment. Their problems make them the center of attention at bar functions. They love their problems. You take their problem
it allows them to
nothing to talk about. Sorry?
They also allow them to belong to communities and to be accepted into communities. So
this is what I'm saying. They love their problems. Their problems give them endless entertainment. Their problems make them interesting to a bunch of losers who are interested in that kind of stupid shit. Their problems give them something to talk about. Their problems protect them from having to step into their full potential and face up to reality. They love their problems. Don't you dare try to stand between a help rejecting complainer and their problems. I've got scars. I've got scars because I stood between some help rejecting complainers, one in particular, and that person's problems, and they damaged me. They hurt me.
Well, I am sorry that anybody hurt you, but do you want to explain what a help rejecting complainer is? Because I'm sure that a lot of people don't even know what you're talking about.
A person who complains about all their problems, and then when offered assistance to help solve their problems, Jennifer, this is your cue to flash the thing for the business plan workbook. There you go. It's a person who complains about all their problems. My law firm isn't profitable enough. They complain about their problems. I'm working too many hours. They complain about their problems. I don't have enough clients. They complain about the problems. I have unpredictable cash flow. They complain about their problems. I can't find great staff. They complain about their problems. I can't get my staff to work for me. They complain about their problems. I got accounts receivable problems. They complain about all their problems. And then when given an opportunity, when given help, an offer of help, they reject it. A help rejecting complainer.
Yeah, it's really sad, but it is true. And they are attached to that way of being.
And for pointing out the truth of my behavior. I would
How do you dare?
How dare you hold a mirror up to me and show me how I'm behaving is exactly what I'm complaining about. Yeah.
Well, I certainly hope that some
Happy
people that are
holidays,
watching
everyone.
will make a different decision.
No, I'm sure. Look, just because most people are help rejecting complainers, and just because most lawyers are exactly what I'm describing, doesn't mean everyone is. I mean, we have over 600 amazing, brave, fantastic entrepreneurs, amazing, brave souls who are not like that. And that's part of the reason why people love joining our community, because once they step into that room, they're like, oh my God, I never even knew there could be a group of people like this. And that's why we have a waiting list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is the time to wrap up the show, and keep your questions coming, and download the business plan workbook. And Erica, thank you for joining us. Do we have
Thank you for having me.
teaser? Do we have a teaser for tomorrow's episode?
On the 6th day of Christmas, my friends at How to Manage a Small Law Firm taught me how to use my calendar strategically so I have a life outside of work and make my law firm a lot more profitable too.
I love those little songs. So calendar, strategic calendaring tomorrow. Nice.
I get the sense that's what it's going to be. I don't know what clip they're going to show, but it'll be interesting. If you want to learn, what is it again?
I can't tell you.
Play the clip again.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my friends at How to Manage a Small Law Firm taught me how to use my calendar strategically so I have a life outside of work and make my law firm a lot more profitable too.
So if you want to learn how to use your calendar a lot more strategically and make your law firm a lot more profitable too, tune in for tomorrow's show. Thank you again for being here, Erica. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me.
Everyone on my team for putting this together. And we'll be back tomorrow with this.
On the 5th day of Christmas, my friends at How to Manage a Small Law Firm taught me to leave my bullshit at the door. How to set better goals, the difference between strategy and tactics, how to defend my standards, and a practical working definition of whether my law firm is successful or not.